Welcome to Simformer Business Simulation. My name is Mevdas and I will be guiding you through the tutorial about production and mining business units of the Simformer Business Simulation. Now, as you know, that there are 6 essential groups of business units in Simformer Business Simulation. And today we'll be covering the production and mining business unit group. The production mining group is made out of mines, sawmills, mills, and factories. And basically, that covers the activities that are purely focused on mining raw materials or resources and then reshaping them into final products. As you can see, these are the natural resources we have in our simulation. Bauxite, chemical minerals, chrome, clay, coal, copper pyrites, diamonds, gold, iron ore, manganese, oil, silica, and titanium ore are extracted by mines, and wood is provided by sawmills. Afterwards, these natural resources have been extracted, we can use them to create materials and semi-products in factories. Foodstuff is also created in factories. However, the natural resources for them are provided by agricultural companies. Consumer goods as well are created in factories, and they are directly used to sell to the final consumers, as well as medical supplies, manufactured products, fuel. So the main question is, how do these business units function? It's very simple. Mines and sawmills use natural resources and extract them from either mines or forest. The factories and mills use those natural resources, or in other words, supplies, in order to produce final goods. Both use equipment and need employees that manage that equipment. Let's start with opening a new mine. By choosing new subdivision, you have to choose a mine from the list of possible business units you can open. Then you have to choose the natural resource you will want to mine. Be warned that not every country has all the natural resources, so you will be limited in your choice. After choosing a country, you will have to choose a region. And after choosing a region, you can choose the city where the mine will be. As you see, these are features of the mine you can choose before you open it. First of all, mine quality. The values will vary from 1 to 3 by making a step every quarter. The higher the mine quality, the higher will be the quality of raw materials excavated or extracted within this specific mine. However, as you increase the quality, the field reserves will diminish. So the higher is the complexity of mining, the higher will be the costs in order to extract the raw materials. However, the higher the complexity, the more field reserves can be extracted. So it's up to you which one to choose. And the final slider is the cost of the selected field. It directly affects the field reserves. So the bigger the field, the more it will cost, but also the more field reserves you will have before you run out. When you finish configuring, you can choose to continue, and you will see the end price of your mine. What kind of raw materials you will be extracting, what is the size, what are the reserves of the field, also the complexity of mining, and as you can see, cost of the field and also cost of the buildings. Price of the mine itself is pretty high, and you have to plan ahead properly if you want to open a new mine. And now let's move on to the management of the mine. This is the main screen of management. It is called Mine. And in this tab, specifically, you can see all the initial data that you need in order to manage. As you can see, the resources, as well as complexity of the mine, which is set up in the beginning and when you open the mine, as well as the mine size and technology level. The mine size can be increased. Currently, it has only one shaft. In order to increase the size, you can click on Change Size link on the right. And then you can choose the amount of shafts you want to have in this mine. However, expanding mines and sawmills will take time. So specifically, this is the amount of turns or weeks that will be needed. You can also see the maximum equipment that will be available for use then, and the maximum amount of employees as well, and price per week business unit will cost. As we know, there are products of different quality, and these are defined by the level of technology that is installed in a specific business unit. It also will require for you to have a certain amount of equipment of a certain specific quality. So as you can see here, the system already informs you what kind of quality of the equipment has to be available for the optimal performance of the business unit. As well as you can see the equipment quantity that is needed, that is possible to be used, and how much you can additionally buy in order to reach that maximum amount. In order to buy equipment, you need to click on the link on the left named Equipment, and you will receive a list of equipment for mines. It will also, in the upper right corner, you will receive the information about the current quality of equipment, quality that is required by technology, and equipment installed. There are two types of suppliers generally, the computer generated and real participants of the simulation. Now, computer generated independent suppliers, that's usually how we call them, they have a limited amount of resources or units or goods they can sell to you. In short, what is important here is the amount of equipment that they have in this column, as well as check the final price of the equipment, including the delivery and customs. So this is the amount you will have to pay. And the main question is really the quality that you are looking for. In order to select the supplier, you need to click on the select link on the right. There will be a form to fill in where you can type the amount of the units you want to buy. Take into consideration that you can buy from different suppliers and the final quality will vary. It is calculated as an average, depending on the equipment that was bought previously and will be bought right now. So it will automatically calculate the final quality. It will give you a recommendation as well, and it will show you what is the final amount in the factory of the equipment, as well as final wear and tear. In order to complete the order, simply click on Buy Equipment. Equipment that you order will be installed the same week you ordered, so that means it's the same turn. Or in other words, instantaneously. The same thing will happen with the employees that you need to work in your factory. When you give an order to hire additional people, you will have those people available on the same turn. As you now have equipment needed to manufacture certain goods, you will also see that it requires a certain qualification of employees to be able to use that equipment. Generally, the higher is the equipment quality, the higher qualification of employees needed. In order to hire people, you need to click on Employees and Salary link on the right. You can also see the number of workers that is required. The production load will not be 100% unless you will fill all open workplaces. An open workplace is then when you have a certain amount of equipment, but you haven't filled all the available workplaces with employees. By clicking on Employees and Salary, you can hire additional people. By changing the number of employees, you can either hire them or fire them to increase level of qualification of the staff. Changing the salary. As you can see, I move the slider and the qualification rises, always getting lower. It is recommended to watch really both city average and the amount that is recommended in accordance to the equipment you have. You can input that value manually, or you can use the services of your HR department. There are three functions in general. One, the qualification of which the HR department will adjust salaries, like this, and then clicking on the first option. Or you can use your HR department for them to adjust the salary in accordance to the technology requirements. So let's see how it happens. The qualification is optimized for the certain level of technology, and as you will be buying new equipment of higher or lower quality, the HR department will be adjusting the salary of your employees. Now you can also see the staff efficiency. You will see how efficiently they work. And lower there you can see your office efficiency. Take into consideration that office efficiency has direct influence on the efficiency of your staff of the factory or the mine. I will tell you about the office efficiency in a separate tutorial. In order to view financial reports and the performance data of the mining and production business unit, we have to go to Financial Reports tab. There are a couple of ways you can see the data, and we're either in graphics, the revenues and expenses, the overall graphics for a long period, or last 4 turns. Revenues, expenses, profit, and taxes in numeric values. And then also the expense structure, prime cost structure, asset structure. You can see on what you're spending most. As well, the income statement, the expenses by and profits by products and by buyers. The production tab will give you opportunity to view and manage your production. First of all, you will see the type of the raw material you're extracting or the type of product you're producing. The column output covers the quantity, quality, and prime cost that will be received after the closest recalculation. So that means next turn. In stock is the amount of the goods you have available for sales. Order volumes covers the amount that is ordered, and then available column covers the production that is left after the orders have been parceled and sent. The price is input manually. In distribution policy, you can input the maximum value of the order, and then you can choose either not to sell at all, to sell to any customer, only to certain companies where you will have to input the name of the companies, and finally, only to my company. Occupancy is where you can see how much space you have left in your warehouse. The higher the occupancy, the less space you have. If you exceed 100%, you will have additional expenses. In order to set the price, you need to input the value and click on the button Save Changes. In order to see how competitive your product is in the global market of Simformer Business Simulation, you need to click on the icon of the product. Next tab is Sales. The overall tab is very similar to the Production tab because you can manage the price, see the overall output, and manage your sales. Here you will also see the list of customers that will be buying your goods. So take into consideration that the orders are served in a certain manner. First ordered, first served. If you will have more orders than you have goods available for selling, the customers that are at the top of the list will receive the goods, and those who are on the bottom of the list will receive nothing. It's a good sign that you need to increase the level of operations, increase the size of the business unit. In the screen, you can choose the level of technology you can buy or install if you have developed. I will cover the development of technologies, overall R&D and laboratories in a separate tutorial. But just to tell you that compared to the prices on the market, developing technology is a lot cheaper. However, it takes more time. Let's move on to the factory. Factories and mills, also they can be called plants, also open from New Subdivision tab. All we have to do is choose a specific factory. Factories can be opened virtually in every country. All we have to do now is to choose what kind of product you want to produce. Take into consideration that you can open a factory only in a country where you have an office. As you have chosen a country, then you will have to choose a region and then a city, and you move on to open your factory. You can choose the size of the factory. Naturally, the more workplaces it has, the higher will be the price, and more time will be needed to open it. You can actually start from opening the smallest one and then expand it later on. Also, you can choose the technology introduced into your factory. You will always start with level 1, and you can later on either develop that technology in your own laboratories or you can buy it in the market. And before opening, you will be giving all the information and the price of the factory you're about to open. As the construction of the factory will be over, then you will be able to use it for your business. Now let's move to the management of the factory. This it is pretty similar to the mine. You will need equipment, employees, but what you will be using are the supplies. Now that is a different thing. Compare that to in mines. All you need is a field with raw materials to be extracted. So in order to produce or start the production, you first of all need enough raw materials, and you will be given that information in quantity column. What is said, how much, what is the amount of required materials that will be used for one turn. So as you can see, next to it is in stock column that will let you know how much of that specific material you have, what is the quality, and the prime cost of that material. In order to purchase, you need to click on the green car, select supplier. You will be given a list of available suppliers. So as you know, there are two types of suppliers, the independent ones and real-life people as the participants of the simulation. You can choose from one of these suppliers. You'll be given information on what kind of quality is recommended according to technology. That's in the upper right corner of this window. Also, the current quality you have, the amount that is required, and the quantity that you have in stock. In order to select the supplier, you need to click, first of all, on the button Select. But before that, take into consideration these numbers. 1, you can see where exactly that supplier is, because that will affect the delivery and customs. That will be applied to the initial price the supplier will put in. And also, how much of the good or raw materials can the supplier provide to you. The smaller the amount, the bigger is the risk that this supplier can run out of the goods and simply will not be able to provide you. And that is usually not a problem with independent suppliers because they have an unlimited amount of supplies to provide to you. After you have selected the supplier you want to buy from, you'll be given a field to input a value for the quantity of the goods you require. After you input the value, you can see there are additional terms for the contract. First of all, these automatical triggers. The contract will be cancelled automatically if the price will increase by more than a certain set parameter. So either increase by a certain percentage or by a certain specific value. It'll be, you can input a maximum price, how much you want to pay for this raw material. If the price will exceed the one given here, then the contract will be automatically cancelled. And you can also manage the quality of the order. If the supplied goods will be lower than the value that you will input here, the contract will be cancelled automatically as well. And it also can be a one-time purchase. If you don't choose this, then you will be receiving this amount of raw materials every turn. So that might be useful, but also it might be slightly dangerous. Now, there is one essential thing about the end quality of production that you will have in stock. As you can see, these are different quality values. And in the end, what you will receive will be an average of all the values. So it's also a way to manage the end quality of raw materials used. After you have finished ordering the supplies, you have to be sure that you have enough equipment and enough employees to produce the goods you want to produce. So the same as in mine, you can change size and create additional workplaces. So as mentioned before, you can start building up little by little. It will increase the amount of maximum equipment used, maximum employee number that can be hired, but also it will cost more and it will take some time to open. Depending on the technology level you have installed in your factory, in other words, level of know-how, a certain quality of the equipment will be needed. So specifically here, the system will always give you a hint what is the equipment quality required in order to efficiently produce goods of the maximum value provided by technology level. In order to buy equipment, you have to click on the Equipment tab and choose one of the providers. So as you see, it looks similar to the supplier list, but the structure is slightly different. The difference between employees, equipment, and supplies is that employees and equipment will reach your factory on the same turn you have ordered them, while supplies will need one turn to travel to the warehouse of your factory. So take that into consideration when you're planning your operations. So as you can see, you're informed what kind of current quality you have of the equipment right now in your factory, what is the quality that is required, and the amount of equipment installed. Here you can see the list of suppliers, the amount of equipment they have, and what is the total price of the equipment. So you can see here the initial price, the delivery costs, the customs, and the final price, as well as the quality of the equipment. After you have chosen the supplier and you input the value you want to order, the system will automatically calculate the final quality of the equipment, as well as the final amount, and it will also inform you what is the maximum amount, as well as you can see the final wear and tear. After you have finished making an order, you can buy the equipment, and it will be, as mentioned, installed the same turn. So technically, as you close the window, you will have it available in your factory. Take into consideration that all the equipment wears down, and you will be informed what is the percentage of the equipment that is breaking down. As the equipment that has worn down number increases, the equipment efficiency decreases. As you buy new equipment, you create new open workplaces, and naturally you need more workers to reach 100% of the production load. To hire new people and manage the salaries, you need to click on Employees and Salary link. In this pop-up window, you can choose the amount of people you want to hire, also what kind of salary you want to pay them. Depending on the quality of the equipment you have purchased, a certain level of qualification will be needed, and the system will show you that here. If your employees are unable to work properly with equipment you have bought, that will have a certain negative impact on the end quality of the production. You can either input salary in order to reach the required qualification, or you can use the help of your HR department. There are three options. One, you have to input the value of qualification you want your employees to have manually. Two, the HR department will adjust to the technology requirements. And three, you simply will not be using a department. So as you see, the higher is the equipment quality, the higher will be qualification needed. In order to know more about the technology level and quality of the production of your factory, search for a tutorial about quality management and R&D. Same way as in the mine case, the office efficiency also will affect the overall efficiency of a certain business unit. To see the financial reports and the data, you need to click on one of these reports. Here you will be given data regarding your revenues and expenses, also numeric value for the last 4 turns, expense structure, prime cost structure, and asset structure. Also you can analyze the income statement, the data given by product, by purchase, or by the buyer. The production screen is very similar to the mine production interface as well. The difference is that you will see all the goods and all the products that can be produced in this specific factory, or in other words, what kind of specialization can be chosen by this factory. And here you can see the output, also the amounts in stock, and also the orders, and what is left after the orders have been sent to the clients. Here as well you can select the price and what kind of distribution policy you want to apply. Don't forget to click on Save Changes in order for the data you have input and the values you have input to be fixed in the system. The additional thing what you will see in the Production tab is raw materials needed for production, how much you have purchased, how much you have ordered, what is their quantity in stock, considering also their quality and prime costs. And you also see certain notes. So that will be system hints. What is the situation with the supplies? Either you have no raw materials, either you will run out in a certain amount of time, or the quality does not meet the one required by the technology. You can remove selected materials from the warehouse here as well. When you will be changing specializations, you will require different raw materials. Afterwards, you might end up having certain unneeded raw materials. As you move to the Sale tab, here, the same way as it is in the mines, you can see the goods you're producing. What is the situation of the output? How much you have in stock? What is their quantity, quality, and prime cost? How much orders do you have? And how much you have left after. Same here, you can see the list of customers. And it will always be first ordered, first served. So you can manage priorities of your clients here. You can also cancel the contract here and move the player or the participant of simulation to the blacklist. In order to introduce a new technology into your factory, you need to go to the Technologies tab. As you can see, the price for the technologies is pretty high. You can also develop technologies in your laboratories. I will cover that in the tutorial about R&D and technologies. And that covers all the basic functionality of the business unit management that falls under the category of factory.